to 10, how true is everything you said in the past?
You tell me.
Is there some
you tell
jokes?
me. You just paid me $5,000 to tell you a lie. You paid me $5,000 to lie to you? Is what you saying?
Nah. And when Diddy got locked up, Meek Mill came out saying that he'll pay somebody $100 grand to investigate that he has nothing to do with anything with Diddy.
Man, look, I can't. You can't take back what your butthole received.
I don't know if it's the truth, but they had a recording of Meek and Diddy
making love.
Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, daddy.
That's just like the video that's coming out with him and Will. With Will Smith getting the Will Smith. You ain't heard the Will Smith footage?
Look it up, Mike. It's there. Okay, you have it? Let's hear it. What?
Orlando Brown didn't drop hints. He dropped a bomb. One live, a handful of names, and suddenly the timeline swore Diddy's late-night freak-offs weren't just wild. They were contagious. He says there's footage. He says there were lists. He says the same circle kept coming back for more. No boundaries, no caution, just baby oil and chaos. And when he starts tossing names, Usher, Meek, Will, YK Osiris, French, fans swear the dots connect themselves. Maybe, maybe not. But the fire's raging and the internet wants bodies. Tonight we're running the tea exactly how it's being poured. What Orlando says, what insiders claim, what the streets swear they saw. Fast, raw, and unapologetic. The match? Orlando saying Diddy's parties weren't hangovers and hush rides home. They were souvenirs, not swag bags, the other kind. He claims dudes rolled in for the vibes and left with problems, and that the names tied to Puff weren't just in the room, they were on the list. He points first at the energy around Usher, history with Puff, a young come-up in a grown man world, and hints that if anything was circulating back then, it didn't stop at the door. That's the whisper. That's the angle. Then Meek. Orlando swears the brotherly moments weren't just business. He points at the cuddly clips, the you deserve it, daddy vibes.
Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, daddy.
The matching fits, the private jets. Fans say the chemistry wasn't corporate, period. Will's name? Orlando throws it like a grenade. He says there's footage.
And that's when I see Dwayne and having anal sex with Will.
He says the guest list wasn't a rumor. He says certain doors closed for a reason, and that the stories people laugh at today started as inside jokes years ago. YK Osiris gets dragged in through beach pics, massages, and a timeline that looked too curated to be casual. Orlando leans on the aesthetic and lets the audience finish the sentence. French Montana shows up covered in oil on a birthday night, and the crowd decides the caption for him. Orlando doesn't have to say much. He just nudges the frame. You saw it. And on the women's side, he teases familiar names, J-Lo, Cassie, and lets the history speak for itself. Old flame, old paperwork, old clips that feel brand new when the algorithm needs them. That's how the blaze started. One voice, a handful of names, and the promise that the wildest rumors were never rumors at all. Keep up, because if Orlando's right, it isn't about who showed up. It's about who couldn't leave clean. According to Orlando, the rules started before the door even closed. Private flights in, phones in pouches, NDAs on the table, and a vibe that said you're either in or you're out. No spectators, only participants. He calls them freak-offs, invite-only nights with a rotating cast. He says the guest list mixed artists, athletes, escorts, men and women, and a handful of helpers who knew exactly what to bring and when to leave. Music up, lights low, cameras nowhere you could see. Orlando swears the setup was no boundaries. He talks about rooms layered like a maze, lounge, bedroom, steam, repeat, each with a new scene already in motion. He claims protection wasn't the move. Raw only was the flex. The only thing stocked heavy? Oils and wipes. Fans point to those raid day whispers about supplies piled stupidly high and say, yeah, fits the story. He says there was no clock, only rotation. If you left for a shower, someone slid into your spot. If you slowed down, someone nudged the pace. House staff moved quiet, swapping sheets, flipping playlists, topping glasses. The objective, he claims, was simple. Outlast your own limits. Orlando also hints at souvenirs, not swag bags.
He's talking in code. No, I said I'm not giving my asshole up. That's not a code. Ain't no code to that. I'm not bending on even no couches. Y'all niggas ain't running up my asshole. Ain't no studio for me to go get raped and be looking like somebody's funny. Get the fuck out of here. None of that shit. And since I can get on Pornhub and identify who the fuck is getting, that's the problem. Stop getting Pornhub. Period. This shit gonna hurt. Yeah. When you see your mama get bent over, when you see your aunties getting, when you see your daddy getting dick in his mouth. This shit real. Boy, this shit real as a mother, boy. after my ass, and ain't nobody playing no games.
He says people walked out feeling off, comparing notes, swapping "yo, you good" texts days later. He calls it the tax of the night. The implication writes itself. He talks about lists, not guest lists, contact lists. Who could be called at 2 a.m. and show up by 2:40? Who was always in the city? Who preferred girls, guys, both? A living directory updated after every weekend. Security, he claims, wasn't just for the door. It was for containment. A vibe shift, you're escorted to the balcony for air. A meltdown, you're in a car with a driver and a "we'll talk later" text from an assistant. If someone got too chatty, the invites dried up. Simple. And then there's the footage rumor. Orlando says there's video, angles nobody knew were rolling, clips that never touched the cloud. He calls it leverage, insurance, memories with a price tag. Put it together and you get the picture he's painting. No phones, no limits, no cleanup, just consequences. Whether you came for business, clout, or curiosity, he says everybody left with something. Some left with more than they bargained for. This is where the room goes quiet. Orlando doesn't tiptoe, he points. Usher lands first. History with Puff. Teenage years in a grown man ecosystem. Orlando hints the energy wasn't just mentorship. Fans stitch that with old headlines and swear the timeline writes itself. He never says proof. He just says, look again. Meek Mill is the soft spot that won't heal. Orlando leans on the "you deserve it, daddy" vibes. The matched fits, the jets, the spa days. Then that late night audio clip started doing laps. Meek calls, smear. Orlando shrugs. The crowd watches the body language and decides what it wants. Will Smith gets tossed like a live grenade. Orlando says there's footage. Says doors were closed for a reason. Says certain studio nights turned into after hours nobody admitted existed. The whispers are old. The confidence is new. YK Osiris slides in through the aesthetic. Beach shots, massage table, the baby mama tweet that lit the fuse. Orlando doesn't argue. He just frames the collage. Vibes too curated for coincidence.
Nah, I ain't gonna say that. I heard about that though, but I ain't about to say that. But
What was
I ain't
it?
about to say it on my.
You and Diddy? You and Diddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, you and Diddy.
You and Diddy what?
You and Diddy.
No.
They said he was.
Him and Diddy what?
I'm just saying the rumor.
I ain't never heard this,
I'm just saying the
YK.
rumor. They said he was.
How you knew that? How you know
Now I'm about to Google because I ain't never heard this one.
Yeah, because you. That's the. Nobody would ever say that one.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not
So
saying
here
that.
goes envy.
They said he said he was Diddy's boy toy.
Yeah,
What?
I was in Jamaica with him.
Oh, I see it now.
See?
I was in
YK
Jamaica
Osiris
with
in Jamaica with his alleged boo Diddy.
See?
Meltdowns that read like aftermath. Fans connect the dots with a Sharpie. French Montana shows up glowing, literally. The birthday clip, the oil, the way Puff celebrates him like a mirror. Orlando taps the screen and lets the internet finish the caption. Brotherhood is the public word. The private word gets bleeped. On the women's side, J-Lo becomes the algorithm's favorite rerun. Old love, old headlines, old photos recast as context. Cassie gets named because paperwork exists and her story already cracked the door. Orlando uses that crack like a crowbar. Conspiracy channels even drag Kim Porter into darker narratives. Orlando doesn't spell those out. He doesn't have to. The comments do it for him. Then he widens the net. He says there's a list, not 2 names, not 5, 20. Industry, sports, and the friends of friends who never show up on flyers but never miss a flight. He calls them the usuals, the ones who never text first because they're already on the calendar. That's Orlando's rhythm. Drop a name, drop a hint, drop a room. Let the timelines write the rest. Whether you buy it or not, the names stick because the overlaps won't let go. Same jets, same houses, same weekends, nobody remembers the morning after. Orlando says there was a system, clean, simple, practiced. You didn't stumble in, you were ushered. First came the ping, a late text from a handler, not the headliner. Slide through. Location after confirmation. Dress code, don't overthink it. At the door, he says, you met the gatekeepers, not muscle, managers. Smiles, clipboard energy, a quick clock of who you were with and why you mattered. New faces arrived on the arm of a regular. No +1s without a sponsor. Inside, the tiers showed themselves. Lounge for the curious. Inner rooms for the committed. Balcony for the ones who needed air and a talk. If you were useful, talent, platform, influence, you didn't wait long. The room found you. He claims the currency wasn't money. It was IOUs. A feature, a call placed, a budget approved, a slot on a lineup that was full yesterday. You weren't paid to be there. You were invested in. NDAs floated like coasters. Sign here, initial there, standard. Orlando says that's how the favors got tallied. Quietly, not a gag, a meter. The more you took, the more you owed. Messy moment? There were runners for that. A spill, a scene, a vibe shift. Someone appeared with a towel, a bottle, a joke, a car. You didn't discuss it, you accepted the fix. The fix was part of the bill. Security wasn't just bouncers, it was containment. A raised voice became a hallway chat. A phone appeared, pouch back on. Anyone too curious about anyone else? Seat change, pace change, playlist change. He says footage existed like a ghost. Never seen, always felt. House memory, enough angles that no one wanted to test the archives. Insurance without a policy number. Leaving wasn't hard. Staying gone was. was. Because business followed you out. A meeting that used to be on your calendar disappeared. A sample didn't clear. A rumor cooled a room you needed warm. No threats, just gravity. So you called back. You made nice. You showed up for 30 minutes. You signed again. You owed again. And the circle tightened. That's the playbook Orlando swears by. Invite, impress, invest, indent. Not a party, a program. And once you're logged, the exit door only opens if someone else closes it for you. When nights like that end, the internet swears the morning never does. You start seeing cleanup arcs, fresh looks, fresh captions, fresh friends. Old photos vanish. Timelines go minimalist. Bios switch to love.light.focus. It reads like damage control without the press release. Then come the detox eras. Last-minute flights to reset. Wellness posts from nowhere in particular. A month of smoothies and sunrises. Comments turned off. Lives kept short. If anyone asks what happened, the answer is always growth. You notice the PR choreography. A podcast here. A charity walkthrough there. A studio selfie with a legend. Suddenly the narrative is locked in, album mode. New singles drop like smoke bombs. Loud enough to change the subject. Soft enough to dodge the question. Some go the spiritual route. Scripts flipped from party talk to prayer hands. Captions about moving in purpose. Worked, and a mentor figure in every third slide. The audience nods, but the group chat keeps receipts. Who unfollowed, who refollowed, whose comments got quietly clipped. Others break in the open. Late night lives with red eyes and heavy pauses. Apologies that don't name names. A rant about fake friends. Then a shadowy post about loyalty. Delete, repost, delete again. That's when fans say the timeline looks like aftermath. Behind that, Orlando claims, are the silent fixes. A manager takes vacation. A lawyer starts returning calls. A brand partnership mutually parts ways. A feature disappears from a track list with no explanation. Nobody threatens. The calendar just changes. You also get the public buddy system. Two faces that used to share rooms suddenly share nothing. They stop tagging, stop liking, show up at opposite events on the same night in the same city. Coincidence? Maybe. Optics? Definitely. And every so often, there's the hard reset, account wipe, new era, day one, fresh color palette, fresh team, fresh vows about boundaries and focus. The captions speak like they've survived a storm without naming the rain. That's the pattern people point to when they say the party followed them home. Rebrand, retreat, reappear, repeat. Orlando swears the story isn't over, just circling. He hints there are clips nobody's seen, names nobody said out loud on camera, and a drop that lands when the right pocket gets turned inside out. Eyes are on the quiet pivots, sudden brand pauses, tour dates that slide a week with no explanation, collabs that were locked last month and reconsidered today. It looks like scheduling until 3 of them happen in a row. Then there are the live stream flares, late night rants, tearful check-ins, apologies to no one in particular. The room hears those like tremors, not the quake, but the warning. Group chats buzz about handlers doing overtime. No comments. We don't discuss personal matters. Focus on the music. Translation: keep the shit pretty while the hull gets patched. Orlando keeps dangling the 2 words everyone dreads. There's footage, not the recycled clips, the angles that never touched a timeline. Whether that exists or not, the fear of it is its own leverage. People move different when they think a hard drive remembers. Fans say watch for friend math. The duo that used to be inseparable suddenly becomes 2 solo acts. The follows freeze. The likes stop. The captions get polite. That's not beef. That's distance. If anything breaks, it'll be small first. A stray text in a lawsuit. A name in a deposition. A source quote that isn't as anonymous as it sounds. That's how avalanches start. A pebble that knows what it's pulling. And when the circle tightens and the timelines start choosing sides, there's only one question left to land on. When the smoke thins, what still sticks to the wall? Orlando didn't light a candle. He flipped the breaker. Names flew. Rooms got described like maze levels, and the aftershocks looked a lot like cleanup with better lighting. He says there were invites, IOUs, leverage, and things you don't talk about until the music stops. Fans swear they saw the patterns, rebrands, distance, sudden focus eras that just happened to start on Monday. Believe him or don't, the timeline's already acting different. The circles tightened. The smiles got careful. The captions learned how to say everything without saying anything. If even a slice of Orlando's tea holds, the damage isn't just messy headlines. It's favors called in, phones going dark, and careers moving like chess pieces you can't see. So here's where we leave it. The names are out, the whispers are louder, and the room is waiting on one thing. Who breaks first? Drop your take below, tell me which thread to yank next, and tap in if you want the follow-up the second it hits. When the next name slips or a lost clip surfaces, we'll be right here to run it from the top. Stay ready.